Captain Sam Miller stood on the bridge of the USS Pathfinder and watched the stars streak past on the main view screen. His palms were sweaty, and his heart raced. This was it. The moment all of humanity had been working toward for decades. FTL. Drive is operating within expected parameters, Captain, said Chief Engineer Olivia Wright, her eyes fixed on her console. We're making history here. Sam nodded. The experimental faster-than-light drive was humanity's greatest achievement. If successful, this mission would take them to Alpha Centauri and back in less than a month. No human had ever traveled beyond the moon before today. All systems normal, First Officer Jack Davis reported from his station. We are on course and... Loud alarm cut him off. Red warning lights flashed across every screen on the bridge. What's happening? Sam demanded, gripping the arms of his command chair. Olivia's fingers flew across her console. The drive is experiencing some kind of feedback. Loop energy levels are climbing beyond safety limits. Shut it down, Sam ordered. I'm trying. The emergency protocols aren't responding. The ship began to shake. Crew members held onto their stations to keep from falling. Everyone brace for impact, Sam shouted just before a blinding white light filled the bridge. The sensation that followed was impossible to describe. Each person on the bridge felt as if they were being pulled apart and pushed together at the same time. Some screamed. Others were too shocked to make a sound. And then suddenly it stopped. The Pathfinder drifted in. Space. Emergency lights cast an eerie red glow across the bridge. Several consoles sparked with electrical damage. Status report, Sam said, his voice hoarse. He wiped blood from a cut on his forehead. Jack checked his systems. Life support is functioning, hull integrity at 92%. No casualties reported. He paused, looking confused. But our position... This can't be right. What is it? According to these readings, we're nowhere near Alpha Centauri. In fact, I can't match these star patterns with any in our database. Sam felt a chill run down his spine. Are you saying we're lost? I'm saying we're farther from home than any human has ever been. Communications Officer Kate Jordan, who had been quiet until now, suddenly sat up straight. Captain, I'm detecting signals, thousands of them. What kind of signals? Artificial complex patterns. Definitely not natural. Kate's eyes widened. Sir, I think they're communications. Between ships or stations. Sam's mouth went dry. Are you saying? Yes, sir. I believe we've detected evidence of intelligent alien life. The main view screen flickered back to life, showing the space around them. What they saw left everyone speechless. A massive space station, at least 10 times the size of Earth's largest orbital platform, hung in space before them. Around it, hundreds of ships moved in organized patterns. None of them looked anything like human vessels. My God, Jack whispered. We've been searching for proof of alien life for so long, said Science Officer Alan Rogers, his voice filled with wonder. And now we've found it by accident. Sam took a deep breath. His mission had just changed completely. Olivia, what's the status of our drive? It needs time to recharge after whatever just happened. We're stuck here for at least 72 hours. Options? Sam asked, looking at his officers. Jack spoke first. We should power down all systems except life support. Stay hidden until the drive recharges, then try to get home. They already know we're here, Kate said. I'm detecting scans aimed directly at us. They've spotted us. Then we have a choice to make, Sam said. Hide and hope they don't see us as a threat or introduce ourselves. This could be humanity's greatest moment, Alan argued. First contact with an alien civilization. Or our biggest mistake, Jack countered. We know nothing about them. They could be hostile. Sam stood up and straightened his uniform. The weight of his decision pressed down on him. Not only was his crew's fate in his hands, but potentially that of all humanity. Kate, can you broadcast a simple greeting? Use basic mathematical sequences to show intelligence? Kate nodded. Yes, sir. I can have something ready in a few minutes. Do it. In the meantime, Olivia, get that drive working as quickly as possible. If things go badly, I want an escape route. Understood, Captain. Sam watched as one of the alien ships changed course and began moving toward them. It was roughly twice the size of the Pathfinder, with a design unlike anything humans had imagined. It didn't look threatening, but that meant little when dealing with an entirely unknown species. "Captain," Kate called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the approaching vessel. Well, I'm not sure what it is, but it's definitely directed at us." "Put it through." The bridge speakers came to life with a series of sounds, clicks, whistles, and tones that seemed to follow a pattern but made no sense to human ears. "Alan, start recording everything. This is first contact. Every detail matters." "Yes, sir." The alien ship came to a stop about a kilometer from the Pathfinder. For several minutes nothing happened except the continuous stream of unintelligible sounds from their communication system. Then the view screen changed. Instead of showing the ship, it displayed what appeared to be a face. At least, the humans assumed it was a face. It had several eyes arranged in a circle and a mouth-like opening that moved as the sounds continued. "They've hacked our systems," Olivia said, alarmed. "No," Kate replied, checking her console. "They're not in our systems. They're just broadcasting a visual along with the audio. They're trying to communicate." Sam stepped forward. "Kate, activate the bridge camera. Let them see us too." "Are you sure, Captain?" "Yes. Let's show them we're willing to talk." The camera activated, showing Sam standing on the bridge. He raised his hand in what he hoped would be seen as a peaceful gesture. "My name is Captain Sam Miller of the starship Pathfinder. We come from Earth. We mean no harm, and wish to establish peaceful contact." The alien sounds stopped. For a tense moment, there was silence. Then a new sound began, a rough approximation of Sam's own voice repeating his words back to him with odd inflections. "They're learning our language," Alan said excitedly. More alien ships approached, forming a loose circle around the Pathfinder. Their designs varied widely, suggesting they might belong to different species. "Captain," Jack said quietly, "I think we just stepped onto a much larger stage than we ever imagined, and we have no idea what the rules are." Sam nodded grimly. The Pathfinder had set out to test humanity's first faster-than-light drive. Instead, they had thrust humanity onto the galactic scene, ready or not. In the station orbiting nearby, alarms that hadn't been activated in centuries began to sound. Ancient protocols designed for the arrival of new spacefaring species came online, and the name human entered the databases of the Galactic Conquered for the first time. The war hadn't started yet, but the countdown had begun. The meeting room aboard the alien space station was large and circular. Strange lights in blues and greens cast shadows on the walls. Captain Sam Miller and 3 of his crew sat on one side of a curved table. Across from them were 6 different alien beings. "I am High Commissioner Zex Toril," said the tallest alien. Its skin was pale blue and it had 4 arms. A small device on its chest glowed each time it spoke, translating its clicks and whistles into English. "Welcome to Outpost 7 of the Galactic Conquered." Sam tried to keep his face calm and professional, but inside he felt both excited and terrified. This was humanity's first official meeting with alien life. "Thank you for your welcome," Sam replied. "I am Captain Sam Miller of the Earthship Pathfinder. This is my first officer, Jack Davis, Science Officer Alan Rogers, and Communications Officer Kate Jordan." Zex Toril gestured to the other aliens. "These are representatives from 5 of our member species." Each alien nodded or made some kind of gesture as they were introduced, but Sam couldn't remember all their complicated names. "We have many questions," Sam said. "Our arrival here was an accident. Our faster-than-light drive malfunctioned during its first test." The aliens looked at each other. Sam noticed their expressions change, though he couldn't interpret what those changes meant. "You developed faster-than-light travel independently?" asked a small green alien with large eyes. "Yes," Sam answered. "It took our scientists decades, but we finally succeeded." More looks passed between the aliens. Sam felt uneasy. "That is unusual," said Zex Toril. "Most species join the Concord before developing such technology." Alan leaned forward. Are you saying you control when species develop space travel? Not control, Zexteral said quickly. Guide. The Conquered has existed for thousands of years. We find developing worlds and help them join galactic society when they are ready. But we developed on our own, Jack pointed out. No one helped us. Yes, Zexteral said. That makes you unique. The meeting continued for hours. The aliens asked many questions about Earth, human history, and technology. Sam and his crew answered honestly, proud to share humanity's achievements. In return, the aliens explained that the Galactic Concord included over 50 different intelligent species. They showed maps of their territory, which spanned thousands of star systems. This is incredible, Kate whispered to Sam. We thought we were alone in the universe. As the meeting ended, Zexteral offered to give them a tour of the station. Your ship needs time to repair, yes? You can stay here as our guests. Sam accepted gratefully. Thank you for your hospitality. As they walked through the station, they saw hundreds of different alien species. Some looked almost human, while others were completely different from anything on Earth. The station itself was a marvel of technology, artificial gravity, clean energy, and materials unknown to human science. But Alan kept noticing something strange. Captain, he whispered during a quiet moment, have you seen how the security officers follow us everywhere? Sam had noticed. Alien guards stood at every doorway they passed through. Their weapons were holstered but always visible. Maybe it's standard procedure, Sam suggested, but he felt the same unease. Back aboard the Pathfinder, Lieutenant Diane Ross had been left in command. She sat in the captain's chair, monitoring the ship's systems. Lieutenant, called out one of the engineers, I'm detecting unusual energy patterns. Something is scanning our ship. Diane frowned. Can you block it? I'm trying, but their technology is far beyond ours. Diane tapped her communication device. Captain Miller, this is Lieutenant Ross. We're detecting scans of our ship's systems. Should we be concerned? Sam's voice came through clearly. I'll ask about it. Stay alert, but don't take any hostile actions. When Sam questioned Zexteral about the scans, the alien dismissed his concerns. Standard quarantine procedures. We must ensure your vessel carries no harmful organisms or technologies. Sam nodded, but he didn't fully believe the explanation. That night, as the human delegation slept in quarters provided by the Conquered, an emergency meeting took place in a secure chamber deep within the station. The data is clear, said a small alien with gray skin. These humans developed faster than light, travel independently. The last species to do that was the Krell. The name sent a shiver through the assembled aliens. Everyone knew the story of the Krell, a warlike species that had nearly destroyed the Concord 1,000 years ago. Their history is concerning, said another alien, this one floating in a tank of green liquid. So many wars, so much violence, and their technological progress is far too rapid. Zexteral nodded. I have already sent a report to the Security Council. They will decide how to handle this situation. What options are being considered? Asked the floating alien. All standard containment protocols are on the table. Technological restrictions, at minimum. Possibly genetic modifications to reduce aggression. And if they resist? Zexteral's 4 hands made a complicated gesture. Then more severe measures will be necessary. Meanwhile, Science Officer Alan Rogers couldn't sleep. The tour of the station had been fascinating, but something felt wrong. He decided to use the computer terminal in his quarters to access the station's public information network. The Concord's translation technology made it possible for him to read alien text. He began searching for information about how new species joined the Concord. What he found disturbed him deeply. Preemptive containment protocols for potentially destabilizing species, one document read. The text described how species with concerning traits were carefully controlled until they could be properly integrated into Conquered society. Another document detailed historical interventions where the Conquered had taken action against species deemed threats. Some had their technology restricted, others had their populations adjusted through genetic engineering. The most disturbing case was a species called the Vorax. They had refused conquered authority and tried to remain independent. The document simply stated they had been removed as a destabilizing influence. Alan's hands shook as he downloaded as much information as he could onto a portable device. He needed to show this to Captain Miller immediately. As he left his quarters, he noticed the guards outside had doubled in number. The Pathfinder crew had come looking for new frontiers. Instead, they had found a galaxy-spanning empire that saw humanity as a potential threat, and time was running out before the conquered decided their fate. Across the station, Zexatoril received a secure message from the Security Council. The decision had been made. Operation Containment would begin in 12 hours. Earth would be secured before it could become a threat. The first interstellar war involving humanity was about to begin, and it would start with the capture or destruction of a single ship, the USS Pathfinder. Alan Rogers ran through the dimly lit corridors of the alien station. His heart pounded in his chest. The small data device he carried felt heavy in his pocket. It contained proof of the Concorde's plans for humanity. He reached Captain Miller's quarters and knocked urgently. The door slid open to reveal Sam, who was still awake despite the late hour. "Alan? What's wrong?" Sam asked, noticing the science officer's worried face. "Captain, we need to leave. Now." Alan stepped inside and the door closed behind him. "I found something in their public archives. The Concorde isn't what it seems." Alan pulled out his data device and showed Sam what he had discovered. Sam's face grew pale as he read about the containment protocols and what had happened to other species that the Concorde deemed threats. "Are you sure this is accurate?" Sam asked. "It's from their own records, Captain. They're planning something similar for Earth. They see us as dangerous because we developed faster-than-light travel on our own." Sam was quiet for a moment, thinking quickly. "We need to get back to the Pathfinder and warn Earth. Contact Jack and Kate. Tell them to meet us at the docking bay in 15 minutes. Pack only what you can carry." "What about the aliens? They're watching us. We'll have to be careful. Go now and don't raise suspicion." Alan nodded and left. Sam tapped his communication device. "Lieutenant Ross, this is Captain Miller." Diane's voice came through clearly. "Yes, Captain?" "Begin pre-flight checks. Quietly. We may need to leave in a hurry." "Understood, sir. Is everything okay?" "No, the Concorde isn't friendly. They see us as a threat. How's the drive?" "Engineer Wright says it's at 68% charge. Not ideal, but it could get us home." "Good. Stand by for our return. Miller out." Sam packed a small bag quickly. He included the alien technology gifts they had received, thinking they might be useful to Earth scientists. Then he headed for the docking bay. In another part of the station, Communications Officer Kate Jordan was woken by Alan's urgent message. She dressed quickly and headed for the door of her quarters. When it opened, she found 2 alien guards standing outside. "Is there a problem?" she asked, trying to sound calm. "The High Commissioner requests your presence," one guard said. "Please, come with us." Kate knew something was wrong. "Of course, let me get my uniform." She stepped back inside and quickly sent a message to Sam. "Guards came for me. Something's wrong." Jack Davis was already on his way to the docking bay when he received Kate's message. He changed course immediately, heading toward her quarters. He had been a soldier before becoming a ship's officer. If Kate was in trouble, he could help. When he turned a corner, he saw Kate being escorted by 2 guards. He followed quietly, staying out of sight. They took her to a large room he hadn't seen before. Through the doorway, he could see Zex Toril and several other high-ranking aliens. Jack sent a message to Sam. "They have Kate, looks like an interrogation room. Section 7, Level 3. Sam received the messages and changed his plans. He couldn't leave Kate behind. "Alan, meet me at Section 7, Level 3. Bring any weapon you can find." Meanwhile, inside the interrogation room, Zex Toril was questioning Kate. "When exactly did your species develop faster-than-light technology?" he asked. "I told you yesterday. The Pathfinder is our first FTL ship. This was its maiden voyage." "And who else knows your location?" Did you send messages to Earth before we detected you? Kate realized they were worried about other human ships. No. The drive malfunction damaged our long-range communications. We couldn't send anything to Earth. Zextoral seemed pleased by this answer. Good. That makes things simpler. Makes what simpler? Kate asked, feeling afraid. The containment of your species. You understand, it's for the good of the galaxy. Species that develop as quickly as humans rarely integrate peacefully. Outside the room, Sam, Jack, and Alan met up. Jack had managed to take a small weapon from a distracted guard. They have Kate in there, Jack whispered. At least 5 aliens, including Zextoral. We need a distraction, Sam said. He looked at a control panel on the wall. Alan, can you trigger some kind of alarm? Alan studied the alien technology. I think so. Give me a minute. While Alan worked on the panel, Sam contacted the Pathfinder. Lieutenant Ross, this is Miller. Start the engines. Be ready to leave as soon as we're aboard. Yes, sir. But there's a problem. Alien ships are moving into position around us. They could block our exit. Understood. We'll deal with that when we get there. Alan succeeded in triggering an alarm. Red lights began flashing, and a loud sound echoed through the corridors. Many of the aliens in the interrogation room rushed out to check what was happening. Sam, Jack, and Alan hid until most of the aliens had left. Then they burst into the room. Jack pointed his stolen weapon at the remaining aliens, including Zextoral. Kate, come with us, Sam ordered. We're leaving. You cannot escape, Zextoral said calmly. The Conquered has decided. Your species will be contained. We'll see about that, Sam replied. Move slowly toward the door, everyone. They backed out of the room, keeping the weapon pointed at Zextoral. Once in the corridor, they ran toward the docking bay. Alarms blared throughout the station. Alien security forces rushed to stop them, but the humans knew their escape route and moved quickly. When they reached the docking bay, they found several guards blocking their path to the Pathfinder. We need another way, Jack said, as they ducked, behind some cargo containers. There is no other way, Sam replied. We have to get through them. I have an idea, Alan said. He pointed to some strange containers nearby. These are fuel cells for their shuttles, very volatile according to the warning symbols. Good thinking, Sam said. Jack, can you hit those from here? Jack took aim with the alien weapon and fired. The containers exploded with a bright flash. The guards scattered, momentarily blinded and confused. Now, Sam yelled. The 4 humans ran for their ship. They reached the Pathfinder and rushed aboard. The loading ramp closed behind them. Everyone, strap in, Sam ordered as they reached the bridge. Diane, get us out of here. Alien vessels are blocking the exit, Captain, Diane reported. Full power to shields. Olivia, is the drive ready? Chief Engineer Olivia Wright's voice came over the comm system. It's only at 72% charge, Captain. A jump could damage it permanently. Don't have a choice. Prepare for emergency jump as soon as we clear the station. The Pathfinder's engines roared to life. The ship lifted off from the docking bay floor and turned toward the exit. Alien vessels are powering weapons, Jack reported from the tactical station. Evasive maneuvers, Sam ordered. And Kate, send a data burst to Earth with everything we've learned. Even if we don't make it, they need to know what's out here. The Pathfinder shot out of the docking bay, narrowly avoiding the first weapons fire from the alien ships. Kate worked frantically to compress all their data on the Conquered and send it toward Earth. Data burst away, she announced. Drive is charged as much as it's going to be, Olivia reported. Ready for jump on your command? The ship shook as it took a hit from an alien weapon. Shields at 60%, Jack reported. We can't take many more of those. Sam took a deep breath. Engage the drive, Olivia. Get us home. The stars seemed to stretch around them as the faster-than-light drive activated. There was a terrible shuddering throughout the ship, worse than their first jump. Warning alarms sounded on every console. Then suddenly the Pathfinder vanished from conquered space, leaving behind a very different energy signature than any the aliens had seen before. In the Conquered's command center, Zextoral watched the energy readings with alarm. Their drive technology, he said to the others. It's nothing like ours. It could be weaponized in ways we outlawed centuries ago. And they sent a message toward their home world, another alien added. Zextoral's 4 hands formed a gesture of grave concern. Then we have no choice. Invoke the Krell contingency. All available fleets must be sent to find this Earth and neutralize the human threat before it spreads. The first interstellar war involving humanity had officially begun. 6 months passed since the Pathfinder's warning reached Earth. The message traveled faster than the damaged ship itself. By the time Captain Sam Miller and his crew limped home in their battered vessel, Earth was already preparing for war. General, Laura Peterson stood at the window of the newly built Space Defense headquarters. Below her, thousands of workers swarmed over what had once been a quiet military base. Now it was the center of humanity's desperate effort to survive. General, the meeting is about to start, said her aide. Laura nodded and turned away from the window. She walked briskly down a long hallway to a large conference room. Inside, the most important people on Earth waited for her. At the head of the table sat the United World Council President. Around him were military leaders, scientists, and diplomats from every major nation. Captain Miller was there too, his face thinner than when he had left Earth. The journey home had been hard. "Let's begin," said the President. "General Peterson, what's our status?" Laura activated a large screen on the wall. It showed images of ships under construction in orbit. "The first 10 vessels of our defense fleet will be ready next week," she said. "Thanks to the data Captain Miller brought back, we've been able to improve our technology, but we're still far behind the Conquered." "How much time do we have?" asked one of the diplomats. "Unknown," Laura replied. "The Conquered is vast. Their nearest forces could be months away, or they could arrive tomorrow." Dr. Ethan Cole, the lead scientist for the defense project, stood up next. He was a tall man with tired eyes. He hadn't slept much in the past 6 months. "We've made a critical discovery," he said. "The Conquered relies on a network of relay stations for faster-than-light communications and travel. Their ships follow fixed routes between these relays." He showed a diagram on the screen. "But our FTL drive doesn't need these relays. We can jump directly to any location. This gives us a significant advantage despite their superior numbers." Captain Miller spoke up. "The Concorde has thousands of ships and dozens of species under their control. They've been the dominant power in this part of the galaxy for millennia. We can't match their resources. Then we find allies," said Ambassador Nicole Reyes. She was a small woman with a strong voice. Captain Miller's data mentioned several species that are unhappy with Conquered rule. If we can contact them, we might not have to fight alone. The President looked troubled. "Can we trust any aliens after what happened to the Pathfinder?" "We have to try," Nicole insisted. "This isn't just about survival. It's about what kind of future we want. Do we want to live as a controlled species under the Conquered, or do we want freedom?" The meeting continued for hours as they discussed plans and strategies. When it ended, Laura asked Captain Miller to stay behind. "How are you really doing, Sam?" she asked when they were alone. Sam sighed. "I keep thinking about what we started, all those people we met, all those different species. It should have been humanity's greatest moment. Instead, we're facing extinction." "Not if I can help it," Laura said firmly. "What do you think of our chances?" "Honestly, not good. But humans have always been good at beating the odds." Laura smiled, slightly. "That's what I'm counting on. Oh, I have news for you. Your ship has been repaired and upgraded. The President wants to rename it." "The Pathfinder is a good name," Sam protested. "It is. But for this mission, he thinks a stronger message is needed. Your ship will now be called the USS Defiant." Sam couldn't help but laugh. "Subtle. We're past subtle. Report to the launch pad tomorrow at 0600. You're leading our first battle group." Across the solar system, at the edge of Neptune's orbit, the first signs of trouble appeared. Automated. Defense satellites detected unusual energy signatures. Something was coming. The alert reached Earth within minutes. In the Space Defense Command Center, officers scrambled to their stations. "Multiple contacts detected," reported one officer. Energy signatures match what Captain Miller recorded from conquered vessels. General Peterson's voice was calm as she gave orders. Alert all defense forces. Launch the ready vessels immediately. This is not a drill. On the launch pad, Captain Miller was already aboard the Defiant when the alert came. His crew, veterans of the first contact, rushed to their stations. Looks like the Concorde found us sooner than expected, Jack Davis said as he took his place at the tactical station. Good, Sam replied. I'd rather get this over with. The Defiant lifted off, leading a small fleet of Earth's first warships. They were few in number but incorporated everything humans had learned from their brief encounter with alien technology. In orbit, Sam addressed the crews of all ships. This is Captain Miller. Today we face an enemy that believes humans don't deserve to be free. They think we're too dangerous, too unpredictable. Well, today we prove them right, by showing them exactly how dangerous we can be when our freedom is threatened. Good luck. Miller out. The small human fleet took up defensive positions around Earth. They didn't have long to wait. The first Concorde ships appeared in a flash of light. There were 5 of them, larger than the vessels Sam had seen at the alien station. They were clearly warships. They're scanning us, Kate Jordan reported from her communications station, and broadcasting a message. Let's hear it, Sam ordered. A familiar voice filled the bridge. Zex Toril. Attention human vessels. This is High Commissioner Zex Toril of the Galactic Concorde. Your species has been classified as a Level 1 threat to galactic stability. Surrender now and accept Concorde authority. Resistance will only increase the severity of containment measures. Sam looked at his crew. They nodded, ready for whatever came next. This is Captain Sam Miller of Earth. We respectfully decline your offer. Humans will not surrender their freedom, ever. For a moment there was silence. Then the Concorde ships began to move, spreading out to surround the human fleet. They're charging weapons, Jack reported. Sam gripped the arms of his command chair. All ships prepare to jump on my mark. Use the maneuver we practiced. The human ships waited until the Concorde vessels were fully committed to their attack. Formation. Then, just as the alien weapons were about to fire, Sam gave the command. Jump! The Earth ships vanished, using their unique FTL drives to jump short distances. They reappeared behind the Concorde vessels, in perfect firing position. Fire! Sam ordered. The human fleet launched their first attack. The Concorde ships, designed to fight enemies who use the same relay-based FTL technology they did, were caught completely off guard by the maneuver. 2 of the Concorde vessels were severely damaged before they could react. The others turned quickly, but the human ships jumped again, appearing at different positions. It's working, Jack said in amazement. They can't predict our jump patterns. The battle continued with the smaller human fleet using their FTL advantage to hit and run, avoiding the Concorde's superior firepower. Finally, the remaining Concorde ships jumped away, retreating to regroup. On the Defiant's bridge, the crew cheered. It was humanity's first victory against an alien force, but Sam knew it was just the beginning. They'll be back, he said quietly to Jack. With more ships. Yes, Jack agreed. But now they know we won't be an easy target. Sam nodded. Send a message to Earth. Tell them we won this round, but the real war is just beginning. In Concorde space, Admiral Karvosh received the report of the failed attack on Earth. His reaction surprised his officers. Excellent, he said. Now we know what we're dealing with. Prepare the main battle fleet. These humans will soon learn why no one defies the Concorde and survives. Admiral Sam Miller stood on the bridge of the USS Defiant and watched the tactical display with a grim expression. 3 months had passed since Earth's first victory against the Concorde. Now, a much larger threat was approaching. How many ships? He asked. Jack Davis, now a captain himself, checked the sensors. Over 2,000 Concorde vessels, the largest fleet we've ever detected. Sam nodded. Earth had known this day would come. The question was whether they were ready for it. Status of our forces? Our fleet is in position, Jack replied. 300 ships. And we have confirmation that our allies are ready too. That had been Ambassador Nicole Reyes's greatest achievement. Using the information from the Pathfinder's original mission, she had made contact with species that resented Concord rule. Some, like the Viridian Collective, had suffered under unfair economic policies for centuries. Others, like the nomadic, Talon, had been treated as second-class citizens or worse. When the Concord battle fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system, they found not just Earth's defenders waiting for them, but ships from 7 other species as well. On the command ship of the Concord fleet, Admiral Karvosh was surprised by what his sensors showed. Viridian vessels, Talon warships, what are they doing here? He demanded. It appears the humans have found allies, his second-in-command replied. Karvosh was angry but not concerned. It doesn't matter. No collection of malcontents can stand against the full might of the Concord. Begin the attack. The Concord fleet moved forward in perfect formation. They had fought and won countless battles over thousands of years. They were confident in their victory. Sam watched them approach and activated the fleet-wide communication channel. This is Admiral Miller to all ships. We knew this day would come. The Concord believes they have the right to decide the fate of every species in the galaxy. Today we prove them wrong. Today we fight not just for Earth but for the freedom of all species to determine their own destiny. He paused, then added, Execute Plan Thunderbolt. Across the solar system, the Allied fleet split into smaller groups. This was a tactic the Concord had seen before and were prepared for. What they weren't prepared for was what happened next. Dr. Ethan Cole's greatest invention activated. On each Allied ship, a device disrupted the Concord's integrated command network. Suddenly, the perfectly coordinated Concord fleet was thrown into confusion. Ships could only communicate using conventional methods, which were much slower. Now, Sam ordered. The Allied ships executed synchronized FTL jumps, appearing inside the Concord formation. In the chaos caused by the communication disruption, the Concord ships couldn't respond effectively. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. The Allied ships used their ability to jump directly to targets, attacking from unexpected directions and vanishing before the Concord could respond. Despite their confusion, the Concord still had superior numbers and firepower. Allied ships began to fall. Sam knew they couldn't win a war of attrition. It's time for Phase 2, he said to Jack. Target the Eternal Vigilance. The Eternal Vigilance was the Concord flagship, a massive vessel at the center of the enemy fleet. Intelligence suggested it contained the central command systems for the entire Concord military. All ships in Strike Group Alpha converge on the Eternal Vigilance, Jack transmitted. This is our primary objective. Sam had handpicked the ships for this mission. They were the best of the fleet, commanded by veterans of earlier battles with the Concord. The Defiant led them toward the enemy flagship. Concord defenders moved to block their path, but the Allied ships were too fast, too unpredictable. They jumped past the defenders and surrounded the Eternal Vigilance. Their shields are failing, Jack reported. Prepare boarding teams, Sam ordered. This was the most dangerous part of the plan. Instead of destroying the flagship, they intended to capture it. Marines from Earth and their alien allies transported onto the Concord flagship. The fighting was intense. Sam led one of the teams himself, using tactics the Concord had never encountered before. After an hour of fierce combat, they reached the command center. There, they found not just the ship's crew, but several high-ranking Concord officials, including a familiar face, Zex Toral. This is impossible, Zex Toral said as Sam entered the command center. No species has ever defeated a full Concord battle fleet. There's a first time for everything, Sam replied. The Eternal Vigilance is ours. With their flagship captured, the Concord fleet fell into further disarray. Some ships continued fighting, others retreated or surrendered. But the true victory came when Dr. Cole accessed the Eternal Vigilance's database. What he found changed everything. Admiral, you need to see this, Cole called to Sam. The Concord isn't what it claims to be. The data revealed that the Galactic Concord had been created thousands of years ago by the Archivists, the oldest species in known space. They had manipulated the development of younger species, ensuring none would ever threaten their power. The stories about dangerous species like the krill were mostly fabrications, designed to justify the Concorde's control. "We need to broadcast this to every ship and system," Sam said. Kate Jordan, now a commander, set up a transmission using the Concorde's own relay network. The truth about the Concorde's origins and purpose spread across thousands of worlds in minutes. The krill effect was immediate. Ships that had been fighting for the Concorde began to stand down. Species that had been loyal for centuries questioned everything they had been told. 1 year later, representatives from 37 species gathered on Earth to sign the Terran Accords. It was a new framework for galactic cooperation, based on equality rather than control. Sam stood at the ceremony watching as former enemies became allies. Ambassador Reyes had worked tirelessly to create an agreement that would protect the rights of all species while allowing for cooperation on matters that affected everyone. Even some former Concorde officials like Zexatoril had joined the new alliance after learning how they had been manipulated by the archivists. "Did you ever imagine it would end like this?" Jack asked, standing beside Sam at the ceremony. Sam shook his head. "When the Pathfinder jumped to that station, I thought we'd made a terrible mistake. I never imagined it would lead to this." "One ship," Jack said with a smile. "That's all it took to change the galaxy." As the signing ceremony concluded, Sam looked up at the night sky. The stars seemed different now, full of possibilities rather than threats. The war had begun because the Concorde feared humanity's potential. They had been right to be afraid, but not because humans were a threat. It was because humans, with their independence and determination, had shown that the Concorde's control was not inevitable. A single human ship had appeared in Concorde space. That ship had sparked a war, and that war had freed a galaxy. As Sam watched the representatives of dozens of species talking and celebrating together, he knew that this was just the beginning. Humanity's real journey among the stars was just starting. And this time they wouldn't be traveling alone.